All right, real game number 2. NetFlxNChil versus Scaphism. Scaphism winning 1-0 on Proxima Station LE. Ooh. This is a big map. It's an older map. It's not that big.
Welcome, Commander.
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out. I was about to clear them. Okay, so random. They have to random everybody except who they just played. Ooh! Give me that infested! In the upper right, we've got infested. NetFlxNChil in the bottom right. We've got Kala for Scaphism. Both players still not getting factions that they're fully comfortable with. So what that leads me to believe is that later on in the best of 7, both players may end up playing factions that they're very good with. We haven't seen any infested until now. This could go really poorly because he has no idea how to play infested, at which I wouldn't blame him. Or it could go really well because Scaphism has no idea what he's doing with Kala. I have no idea what the experience of both of these players are. If he's never played infested, you know, how can you really expect him to do super well, I suppose? So your workers have the ability to morph into broodmothers. They don't build buildings. Your broodmother actually lays all your eggs for all your units and also builds all your buildings. Yeah, see, he's saying he has no idea how to play. So the egg clusters are your supply structures. You can still spread creep. It sounds like both players not entirely sure, but I will be honest about this. For Kala, even if you've seen them play one match, you just make Zealots Dragoons and then upgrade them, and you'll probably be okay against like a low to mid-level opponent. And in this case, because NetFlxNChil doesn't know what he's doing with Infested, he's got to build that stuff. But he does kind of know what he's doing. He's making that Roach Warren. That's what you need early on is Infested. Mass up those weak Roaches. They're not good Roaches. They're decent Roaches. They're real weak. They're not decent. They're terrible. But you just mass up a bunch of them. You also have an opportunity to make Infested colonies eventually. So let's take a look. As you can see, spawn units. That's where you make all your units. It's all from your brood mothers. You level up your brood mothers, and that's kind of your tech. You still need tech buildings, but you can't make certain tech buildings unless you level up your brood mother. Think of it as like a hatchery lair hive. It's brood mother level 1, 2, 3. And then from there, you can make certain tech structures, and then your brood mother poops them out. Here's some roaches. They're terrible. Look at that, 55 health. They do have 1 base armor. That's not bad. But typically, you expect a lot of roaches out of Infested. Meanwhile, we could take a look real quick here at some of the other things they can build. Arachnid lair. Your roaches can morph into arachnids. They're interesting. They're interesting. Maybe we'll see some. If we see some, we'll talk about them later. Evo chamber's pretty standard. Guardian worm is your defensive structure, sort of like a photon cannon. It can attack air and ground, and it can detect. Nidus network is pretty neat. We'll look at the later tech as we get to it. But here comes some roaches across the map. And there's... Oh, well, there is a repulsor coming out, and I do believe that these count. Roaches do count as light, so a repulsor can kite the crap out of these and probably kill all of them. We'll see, though, how Scaphism decides to do it. No, he runs it right through. Does he realize he gets it out of there just in time? Just enough shields on that to stop it from taking hull damage. But as you can see, it's quite good at attacking these roaches and kiting them around. It has a short range, but it's doing what it needs to do. The roach is saying, look, we can't do anything against this thing, so start going for some workers. None of the roaches have actually been killed yet until just now. This was a relatively cheap endeavor by Netflix, and it's fairly effective. How many workers did he get? Only 2 for the cost of 4 roaches. Roaches are very cheap. Let's check. Only 45 minerals, so any workers you can get, and it sort of threw Scaphism off in the sense that he didn't get his repulsor across the map as fast as he should have. Though I am concerned about this repulsor. It can just completely fuck with Netflix's ability to do anything at this point until he gets some more roaches out. But he can poop out those roaches as fast as he wants to. That's the thing. So he knows the repulsor is coming, and now he's getting Glio Reconstitution, which will allow his roaches to move a little bit faster and not get kited as poorly. But keep in mind, your broodmother, excuse me, has no attack. So you can't use it to defend your brood hive. You can use the spawn banelings, but it does cost Terrazine. You could use that, and oh, 1 gets hit, 1 hits. Those are pretty quick, too. That's interesting. Not quite. Okay, well, now there's roaches, and that repulsor is trapped. I don't think it can get out of here. Oh, no, I think Scaphism may have made a boo-boo here, realizing that he can't get out of there. That was a lot of early Terrazine to spend on the baneling spawn, though, I will say. Eventually, though, you can get drop pods, which is crazy, crazy, crazy good. It's expensive, but it's really good. There's another repulsor inside this base, and it looks like Netflix is handling this correctly, which is try to surround it, get close to it. Scaphism kind of losing track of that one, it looked like. Both players taking their fast expansions in the back that are really well protected. Fast Observer coming out for Scaphism. I think as Kala, it's usually pretty crucial, depending on the faction you're playing, to get observers quickly. There's no observatory prerequisite or anything like that, so tends to work out just fine. Robotics Bay coming out, though. We may see Reavers and or Colossi, which is very exciting. Double Evo Chamber coming out, as it looks like we're going to have a Roach focus here from NetFlxNChil. Neither player thinking about their third base right now. It's still pretty early, but we got a lot of gateways from Scaphism. I think a classic misplay by Kala players is they don't make enough gateways. Just make a ton. If you got some money, and it seems like your army is not on the fence of being destroyed at that moment, and you don't need the money to expand or build army, just make gateways. Just make a bunch of them. Just make a shit ton of gateways. I don't think it could go wrong. Then you just pump out zealots, and with the instant return, then your dragoon count is suddenly back to exactly where you need it to be. Kala has a lot of methods to get their army up to where it needs to be, but in many cases you see they engage, they may lose, they have a lot of money, and they can't reinforce fast enough. So Roaches v. Zealots. Zealots are going to struggle to keep up with the Roaches with Glio Reconstitution, so this is kind of an interesting matchup right here, but we are going to have a creepy little squirmy Reaver right here. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I hate Reavers. I hate them so much. I wish all Reavers were destroyed. Look at it, it's so fucking creepy. Look at it squirm around like a worm. Ugh. Oh, big scarab right there! Yikes. Okay, well, that was exciting. As a Reaver hater myself, that was still quite an excitement to see. Okay, well, now NetFlxNChil sees that the Reaver is out on the field. How will he adapt? Does he, I mean, again, he's not played Infested very much, so it's hard to see how he'll change. He does have an arachnid layer out, which will allow his roaches to morph into arachnids. Is that not? Nah, maybe that's not how that works anymore. Must not work that way anymore. I guess you just evolve arachnids separately. Let's check. Arachnids? Yep, they're just separate. You used to change your roaches into them. They're not Ravagers. They look like Ravagers. But they can attack air, and they apply a poison debuff, which is pretty neat. Soaring Roost, that's what I was looking for. Soaring Roost allows you to make air units. Specifically Corruptors, but they're infested Corruptors. They're not vanilla Zerg Corruptors. They can actually attack ground. Oh, and here we go. The classic Reaver drop. Look at it, squirming around like a little weirdo again. I hate it. Okay, and moving back and forth with the shuttle. And if he dropped it once, one Scarab could still also kill all those Roaches. So NetFlxNChil going to do his best until he gets the Soaring Roost completed, but the amount of Corruptors he'll be able to get will be quite effective, I think, because he's floating a lot of money. And when you're trying to figure out a tech, you have no idea what the tech trees are, you're floating all this cash, you're just like, I don't know what to build, I don't know what I can build. Oh, God. Oh, this is just painful to see. Fuck you, Reavers. Broodmother's got to be careful. I mean, it is a Broodmother level 1. He's got his Broodmother level 2 over here, so he doesn't have to be too afraid. But this is rough. Not enough. Well, he has Terrazine. He just didn't have the. Oh, he didn't have the energy to spawn the Banelings. Excuse me. So oh, that's a big Scarab hit too. So we're just watching this as it happens. It's just the worst. There is a Nidus Dragon up here, and if it gets rid of the shuttle, it's not going to be able to pick up the Reaver. And there's those Corruptors that I was talking about. And Infested strong suit is if you stockpile money, all you have to do, you can poop out as many units as you want, all at the same time. So now we see 11 Corruptors on the field. They can attack ground. They're sort of a poor man's Mutalisk. They're not as good as Mutalisk. They don't have a bounce attack. It's just sort of like a Mutalisk primary attack. They do a little more upfront damage, but there's no bounce, and they're not as fast. So overall, they have strengths and weaknesses compared to Mutalisks. This Reaver frightens me because it might get picked off. Now we see some Dragoons coming out. There's going to need to be more anti-air. He saw the Corruptors, but he has no cannons, and he might not have enough Dragoons to deal with this amount. It's going to be dicey. So, good luck, Scaphism. NetFlxNChil seems to have figured out what he needs to do with Infested. We have Tunneling coming out. I don't know who that affects. What the fuck was that? It just sounded like a shriek. What was that? It must have been something spawning, and I don't know what it was. We have a laboratory coming out right now. Okay, and here is the power of Corruptors with their single targeting. And Scaphism going to have a lot of trouble holding on here, I think. He's moving in with his Dragoons now, but that might not be enough Dragoons. They can get focused on. You can see that they don't do a lot of damage. There's a lot of Corruptors here, and they don't have that much health. So the Dragoons are functioning okay against this, but it's just not enough against this amount of Corruptors. Meanwhile, on the backside of this, NetFlxNChil probably still trying to figure out what the hell this race even does. So the fact that he can wrench a victory out with Infested is pretty impressive. And down go the pylons that are powering this production. We have some more Dragoons here. They're going to do their best to hang on here as the Corruptors decide to leave. Okay, well, this game is certainly not over. But, you know, with a race that you're least comfortable with, it seems like both of these players playing races they're least comfortable with. It is neat to see both doing their best. Do the Zealots have Zealot legs? They do. I forget what this tunneling applies to. I forget who it's for. Enables roaches, arachnids, maggots, and infestors to burrow and move while burrowed. Okay. Oh, and I forgot the maggots are very, very, very good unit. I had forgotten about those. All right, now we've got the amount of Dragoons that we probably need to see, but he's gonna have to leave a few of them at home because again, these Corruptors are gonna continue doing this. Where does he get infestation from? He wants to figure it out. What does he need for infestation? Oh, there we go. He's figured it out. It's a building. Oh my word, that's so many Corruptors. Oh god, there need to be Corsairs on the field like right now. Oh, this makes my heart hurt. It's like getting killed by mass mutalisks. It's really, really shitty sometimes. Okay, we've got some Dragoons out here. It's just Scaphism needs to react to these as fast as possible at this point. What's up, Snacks Max 81? I like your name. Snacks to the max. I do love me some snacks. As the Corruptors continue to poke away at Scaphism, choosing to go for the Nexus instead. Interesting choice. But meanwhile, the Reavers in the base here, getting rid of the third base, but this amount of Corruptors able to pick off the Reavers, which were the big damage dealers, running in with the Zealots. If they can pick off the Broodmother here, or just all of the workers, that could make a big difference. Scaphism basically suiciding at this point, allowing himself time to maybe deal with get some sort of defense set up. He split his Zealots up. He's not going to quite get rid of the Brood Hive here. But he did what he needed to, which was distract. And by the time these Corruptors got back across the field, it's possible there'll be enough Dragoons to handle them. I don't know, though. We still don't see anything that's really going to help against air units, specifically Corsairs. Corsairs are very powerful anti-air. Let's see. So we've got Corrosive Poison coming out for those Arachnids, which none have been built right now, but we may see more. And Netflix doing pretty good at this point, I'd say. We have Instant Return, though, coming out for Scaphism, which will allow his Zealots, his dead Zealots, to come back as Dragoons, which will help his Dragoon count, which is pretty crucial at this point. All right, well, the Corruptors are sandwiched between cannons and then now Dragoons. There are more Dragoons back here, so I think this amount of Dragoons might do pretty well, especially because NetFlxNChil can't really kite with them as you would with Mutalists. You can't just stop move with them. They do have a bit of a wind-up when they shoot. Going around to the backside here, there are some cannons. Scaphism trying to lay down more. This is where the action is right now. Nothing going on in NetFlxNChil's base at this moment. Okay, more photon cannons coming up, and what is being built now? A lot of Arachnids, so he's given the Arachnids a shot. His laboratory is done. I don't know what his plans are with that, and then also an infestation. Not sure what his plans are to use at these buildings. Infestation allows for infestors and infested upgrades. Now we've got roaches. They've got the tunneling claws, which is exciting. Well, it's really just called tunneling. I stopped paying attention to this. I shouldn't have, but those Corruptors still enough to do a lot of damage. Oh, no, he's going to pick this off before the instant return finishes. Oh, it's painful. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Getting some Dragoons in there, too. I think Scaphism is reacting properly to this. He lost his pylon there, but he's just going to keep moving back and forth between these two bases. Dragoons moving in, trying to pick off what they can. I mean, the Corruptor count has been whittled away. Meanwhile, we've got a group of zealots. Oh, dear. Well, they're not going to make it too far. They're the arachnids. They're pretty cool. They're like little creepy Ravager things. The Corruptor count's been whittled away. Meanwhile, we've got a pretty big army here. Neither player, I think, fully understands what their late-game potential is, because at this point in the match, it's possible we could have seen some, what are they called? Let's see what they're called. Where are they? Some brood hosts. We might have seen those. They're basically big walking carriers. Very, very powerful units. Meanwhile, Scaphism doing that Zealot Dragoon thing, just like I was talking about. That's what you need. This poor base, against that amount of Corruptors, has been challenging to hold on to, but he does still have his third base, which is pretty well saturated. He's got a lot of cannons all over the place. This is going to be an interesting engagement if we see both armies clash head-to-head. Both of them moving past each other, both having the same idea right now, which is let's go and attack. Though Scaphism, I think he's hesitant. I think he sees the debris getting attacked. He's preparing himself for the attack. The corrosive poison, it's poison. There's really not much else to say about it. It is literally poison. The roach count is going to get whittled away. The big issue here is that Scaphism doesn't have any AoE. The Corruptor count, though, plummeting. Big, big deal right here. But the roaches, on the other hand, though, able to follow up and going to do really, really well against these Dragoons. There wasn't a high enough Zealot account. No Archons, nothing to deal with this high amount of units. Meanwhile, these poison units are going to take damage over time. It's going to be big, big hits that's going to get rid of them slowly. Pretty good use of Stasis Field there. Mostly just shooing him away, which is great. You can see the poison picking off Dragoons from the grave, basically, as the Arachnids escaped or maybe had died. They're still able to cause a lot of damage. Well, that was a nice little engagement right there, but as you can see, Infested's strong suit, they can just remake this shit really, really fast. Here, giant banelings, which are basically maggots. Very strong units. Very, very, very strong units. So you can dodge their attacks, but they do so much damage, especially buildings. Basically, once your army's gone, a couple maggots can just level your base. Pretty much immediately. Oh, God. Okay, Scaphism, you've got a good army, buddy, but you need... It's these arachnids. We'll see how it goes, actually. I don't know. I really don't know. This is going to be interesting. Again, getting some AoE out. Yes! Oh, yes. This is what I was hoping for. I was waiting for that. Okay, well, both players kind of on the same level of bases. What's he doing? Oh, I see, because he can't get his Colossus out. Did he start remaking another one? He did. Okay. I'm like, what the hell is happening at this moment? Okay, Dragoons coming in. And both armies kind of circumventing each other again. Really excited to see how this is going to go. Colossus, how will it be used? Oh my god, it can annihilate this whole army. It has to happen. And Scaphism actually catching this army while it's on the move. And he's trying to move in. We have a firestorm go down right in the middle of the army. Oh, it hits everything! All of these units are going to die in one fiery explosion. Down they all go. And that was quite exciting. Another firestorm going down. And NetFlxNChil trying to get in there. He really, really wants to kill this Colossus. It's done so much damage. It's available to do another firestorm. There is a bit of a delay before the fire goes off for you to get out of it, but you know what? NetFlxNChil, though, still saying, I still think that this army could do damage, and it did. Keep in mind, Firestorm is balanced in that it does damage to your own units. Those two Zealots were like, why? Why did you do this to me? As they burned to a crisp. But that is very exciting to see. Oh, don't run through your own fire! Once again, the Zealot says, why would you do this to me? But that's where we see the Colossus utility come into huge effect right there. That is great. All right, well, we're back to Corruptors again, and will Scaphism be ready for that? And this is, again, very, very typical Netflix, where you think you've got him on the back foot, but oh wait, he's got a whole nother army, and Scaphism right there, I think he thought he had him on the back foot, but there it was. Oh, a whole nother army. I'd love to see some Corsairs out, but that is an expensive tech switch at this point. Corruptors, you can stack them, which is exciting, just like in Brood War with the Mutalisks. Did get rid of a lot of Corruptors right there. How much do those really cost? Let's check. I don't want to be missing too much. 125.75. I mean, Dragoons are close to that. They're 150.50, aren't they? Or 125.50, so you could sort of trade tit for tat there, I suppose. There's a lot of Colossus with a lot of Dragoons to protect them. This is going to be an interesting battle, I'd say, depending on if the Corruptors... I don't think the Corruptors can afford to engage this. They're going to run away, but what is being built on the back side of this? Roaches. Okay, and the Broodmother level 2 is exposed. The Broodmother level 3, though, still alive, and oh, dear. Oh, big fire right there. It's going to hit the cocoons, and everything's spawning out of them. And this is looking pretty good for Scaphism, but the Corruptors are on top of the Colossi. One Colossus goes down, the other one getting shot, and Netflix saying he's not sure what to do anymore. Victory goes to Scaphism 2-0.